evening. Thank you so much for joining me for this month's episode of HR in the Dark, the video podcast that exposes the dark side of HR. I am your host, Stephanie Lomax, CEO and HR strategist for HR Pro for You, a consulting firm that helps businesses embrace HR. And I'm not sure if you noticed, but I've got a couple of new toys in the office for recording the podcast. I'm really excited, and I hope that you can hear me loud and clear as I bring you some of this great information as it relates to this month's topic, which is employer benefits. And in specific, we're talking about from the employee perspective. What have you done for me lately? How do we educate our employees on company-sponsored benefits? So for small businesses in particular, this is an area that is somewhat difficult and challenging because in addition to wages and salary, obviously the next expensive line item on any company's budget is benefits, and benefits add about 30%, and that includes statutory benefits as in addition to the additional benefits you may round off in terms of what you offer to your employees. So in addition to your base salary that you're paying them, you're also paying them about an additional 25 to 30% in benefits between statutory benefits and company-sponsored benefits. And so it's a really expensive line item, and small businesses often struggle with what they can afford to offer, which is probably the very first question that they ask themselves. The second question they ask themselves is, when can I actually offer the benefits? So can I afford them, and when do I actually need to get them? So assuming that businesses can afford them in some shape or capacity, then the question is, do I offer them when I've got one employee? Do I offer them once I get 5? What does that look like for my business? And so we're going to talk a little bit about some of the traditional benefits that companies typically offer. We'll also talk about some of the uncommon benefits that are offered in some spaces, but are gaining more and more popularity, particularly around the millennial and the other generations that are entering the workforce, and those that are, finishing up college now or in college now. What are they going to want, and what are they going to be looking for in terms of benefits when they enter the workforce? And how do we manage having a multi-generational workforce, because benefits, as we know them in our capacity, vary greatly across the generation. So we'll talk a little bit about some of those uncommon but popular benefits that are gaining more and more trend in the workplace. And then we'll talk about the benefits of having benefits. What exactly does that mean? And how do we best communicate information to our employees? And who do we utilize to help communicate those? And then we'll talk a little bit about benefit strategy. So let's dive right in to some of the traditional benefits. So as you know, anywhere you go, for the most part, what's part of the standard comprehensive benefits package is your medical insurance, your dental insurance, vision insurance, life insurance, disability insurance, and that can be either short-term or long-term disability. Sometimes it's one or the other, sometimes it's both. 401ks are a pretty traditional benefit these days. How much the company rather contributes, or if they contribute really, is a factor in designing and developing your benefit strategy. How much can you afford to contribute to employees to help them match and reach their retirement goals? Commuter benefits, particularly for those in metropolitan areas. As you know, I'm based here in the Washington, D.C. metropolitan area. So commuting benefits is a big benefit, and it's a pretty traditional one at this point, because a lot of employees, especially with the federal government located right here in the center and the heart of the city, they rely on public transportation, either via bus, metro, train, and even parking if they drive. So commuter benefits are another big benefit for those that live in the metropolitan areas. And how do we craft that? What do we contribute, if we contribute at all, to helping employees get back and forth to work? And then, of course, you've got vacation, personal leave, sick leave. Some employers lump that all together into a paid time off pool. So they don't track it separately, but they actually have it all lumped in together as one pool of time. So how much do we offer in terms of PTO or vacation? Do we do 2 weeks, 3 weeks? And if we do 2 weeks, when would they get 3? When would they get 4? So all of this is, kind of traditional things, but things nonetheless that need to be thought about when you are developing your benefit strategy. And then, of course, there's holidays. So I've come from several different industries, some supporting the federal government. So because the federal government was closed every federal holiday, then that also meant that the employees were off every federal holiday for the most part. And so we, in those environments, we went kind of by the federal government. But there are a lot of organizations, obviously, in this area that don't, or anywhere across the country that don't support the federal government. So what holidays are you going to offer? A traditional benefit to have holidays off, but let's say that the Christmas holiday, for example, falls on a Friday. Are you going to have them to be off on Thursday also? If it falls on a Monday, are they going to be off on Tuesday? Like, how do you structure that? It can get a little tricky and be a little time consuming to kind of think through that process. But nonetheless, these are things that employees are not just considering in their current workplace, but they're also considering when they're looking to make a move to a new job. So if you're recruiting, these are some of the things that you want to be thinking about. What does that benefits package look like? So those are a lot of the traditional benefits. I think that for the most part, when employees are considering employment and they ask to see, or they're presented with the benefits package from a company, that they expect to see at least these things that I just mentioned. What they may not be expecting to see, but would be a pleasant surprise to some of them as a great perk or an added benefit in addition to the traditional ones, are some of these. And we'll talk a little bit about these. And some of them are philanthropic in nature. Some of them are kind of pull at your heartstrings. Some of them, just kind of depends on where you are. And one of the other things to think about when you're developing your benefit strategy is what type of benefits do you want to offer that are in alignment with your company core values. So just think about that. We'll revisit that before the podcast is over. But again, so some uncommon but growing in popularity with benefits are things like pet insurance. So it's been around for a while. A lot of companies don't offer it as part of their benefits package, but it's a huge perk if you've got employees or you're looking to recruit employees and they have pets, and either you offer it as a 100% employee paid benefit. I can't imagine that it's horribly expensive. So it could be a perk that you can offer to them without having to really come out of pocket with contributing towards it, but having it available for them to participate in could be a huge score. Donations and matching for charities. So I used to work for a company that every year they would select a handful of charities that they would donate or match a employee donation to a charity of the employee's choice. And they had varying ways of determining that and selecting those. And actually one year we had people to write up a summary, and we were going to select a winner. We really gave it to everybody. So we didn't pick one charity. We gave to all the charities. So that's another, benefit that you can offer and advertise as a recruiting tool. And it could be an awesome retention tool as well. Volunteer days off. So if you want to allow, employees to have one day off, they can go and volunteer to do charity work of their choosing. They can go to volunteer. Maybe you can have something as a company or a department where the department takes off and they go and do something like, Habitat for Humanity or some other charity, food kitchen or something like that. That would be an awesome perk to allow employees to be able to use their time and the company pay for that time for them to be off. Gym memberships, we're all working, I hope, towards being healthier. And so in that, if you are able to offer discounts on gym memberships, a lot of the insurance carriers actually have built-in perks for wellness. And so if that's not the case, you can certainly partner with a gym that's local to your area and bring them in and maybe offer something towards the cost of the monthly membership for those that want to participate. That's a pretty cool benefit, and can be relatively not cost prohibitive, but could be something that doesn't cost a lot of money out of pocket for you to offer. Flexible work schedules. So that's a growing trend. I think the government has had it for a while, but a lot of organizations are finding that their employees are more productive when they work less days. Can't imagine how that could actually work, right? It actually can work. And so, again, lining up with your core values, how would that work in terms of how you deliver, how you are able to get deliverables to your clients? Does that work for your organization to be able to do it that way? So that's something to think about and consider when you're talking about an overall benefits package that you can offer to employees. A flex schedule of some sort would be awesome. Paid parental leave. So this may not actually be able to be selected anymore. We've got several states that are passing laws that are requiring employers to provide paid parental leave of some sort. So if you can get ahead of the curve with that, and that's something that, again, matches with your core values and works with your workforce, to be able to offer them paid parental leave, and that's parental, not maternity. So maternity meaning the mother, paternity leave meaning the father, but parental meaning collective. That would be a great benefit that you could actually offer as well. And then this last one that, no, there's two more. So tuition reimbursement, that's a growing one. It's been around for a while. I believe that the IRS has a tax write-off rule of maximum of $5,000 that a company can write off on their corporate taxes for providing the benefit to the employee. However, certainly that's not the most that's not all that you can offer, and it's not the max you have to offer. So you have some flexibility around that if you want to encourage education within your workforce and having them to complete higher education degrees. You can certainly provide a tuition reimbursement benefit. Some companies don't do reimbursement, they pay straight out. So if a person qualifies and whatever the criteria is for them to be able to receive tuition payments, they are able to do that. And this last one is definitely a newer one. I saw a commercial probably 6 months ago, maybe not even that long ago, this summer, where they were talking about there's a company that you can partner with that helps you to pay off employee student loans. And so it's like a student loan forgiveness program, and you partner with the organization to help you to be able to do that. Now, that is something that can be costly. However, if you sit down to do the return on investment and think of it as a retention tool, and a recruiting tool, it really could be a huge benefit to not only the employee or the candidate you're looking to hire, but definitely to you as well, because you're going to be able to retain that employee and have them to grow with you and have an opportunity to work with them and benefit from the education that they received over a longer period of time. So something to think about. It is, like I said, it can be costly, but it is a benefit that as a small business, maybe you can start in smaller increments. So you do a little bit of research and find out exactly how that program works. And if it works for you, but definitely something that you could think about to kind of stay ahead of the curve and be a little bit different than some of the other small businesses that are out there, right? So what are the benefits of benefits? I kind of alluded to that in the beginning, and I've talked about it a little bit kind of throughout the podcast thus far. But one of the biggest benefits of offering benefits is it is a recruiting tool. As a small business, it's difficult to find staff. It is difficult to find good candidates and making the right hire. There's a lot of factors that go into that as a small business. But if we're in a position to be able to offer some unique benefit offerings that are in line with our core values that we can communicate effectively and educate our employees on, the recruiting piece of it then becomes a little bit easier. We're able to connect those dots with employees and candidates as we're out recruiting for talent. And so benefits, offering benefits is definitely an awesome recruiting tool. As I mentioned, it also can be an awesome retention tool as well. So keeping the workforce that you have in staff, keeping the workforce that you have on staff in play with your organization is a huge benefit to being able to offer benefits. And so think about what your workforce needs the most. Communicate with them. Ask them, hey, we're looking at restructuring our benefits. What are some of the things that you would like to see? How can we help to make our benefits package more attractive to you? And what are you seeing out there? Because I can tell you they are talking to other people. So they definitely know what other companies are offering. So get a leg up on that and use that information to help you structure and strategize how you want to offer benefits to your current staff to help to retain them. And then lastly, another benefit of the benefits is being able to have a happier, healthier workforce and increasing productivity. So if, employees know that as a benefit that's offered through the company that they're able to volunteer 2 times out of the year without having to take leave, if they are able to go out on paid parental leave, if they are able to work a flexible schedule for, whatever the reasons may be that they need to have a flexible schedule, if they're able to set aside, if they're able to get a match on their 401k to help them towards their retirement, those things may help to make them more productive. They're happier, more excited about what's being offered, and as a result of that, they're willing to stay and continue to do good work for you as a small business or any business really. And so those are 3 great benefits of offering benefits. Then the last question is, how do we educate our employees on what it is that we're offering? How do we go about making sure they understand the company-sponsored benefits that are being offered? One of the things that we want to do is that we want to over-communicate information. One of the things I used to do in my corporate life was I used to send either quarterly or monthly newsletters strictly about the benefits. So I would partner with the carrier, and they would often have every month was some type of something awareness month, and you can probably Google it and find it. And there's tons of resources out there you can utilize to find that information. But I would use those tools to do email blasts, or sometimes even mailings directly to the home, to the employees' homes, to educate them on things that were happening in terms of benefits and things they should be thinking about. National Diabetes Month, Heart Association or Heart Awareness Month, Self-Care Month, whatever it was. I would use those flyers to over communicate, and then I would tie it back to what it is that we offer and how they can best take advantage of it. A lot of carriers also offer online tools that ensure that the employees can participate in. They can check their numbers. They can connect directly with smoking cessation counselors. There's all kinds of things that can be done. And so over communicating those things is definitely a way to keep them educated about what it is that's being offered by the company. We also, can do like in-person sessions. So have the carrier to come out, have the broker to come out, have your HR person to conduct like a lunch and learn and talk about benefits. And then also solicit questions on a regular basis. Maybe it's only twice a year prior to open enrollment. You have just conversations with employees about what it is that they like the best, what it is that's working for them, what's not working for them, and how we can better package benefits for them that's going to be useful and helpful for them so that they understand how to use their benefits most effectively and get the most out of the benefits that are being offered. And then lastly, you can always utilize an outside consultant to assist you with not only developing a strategy, but also choosing the benefits, communicating the benefits, and consultants can work with brokers and insurance carriers directly to help to package the right benefit package for your employees to be able to communicate it to them so that they understand it. And they understand how to use it. So not only do they know what they have access to, but they also know how to effectively use those benefits to get the most out of them, and be able to continue to be productive in the workplace, continue to communicate what their challenges are, and just overall be able to have a better understanding of what is out there so that they don't ask you, well, what have you done for me lately as it relates to benefits? So that is this month's podcast. I definitely encourage you, if you have not taken a look at your benefits, this is the time of year where a lot of employers are going through open enrollment. January 1st is the most popular effective date for benefits. So brokers and insurance carriers are really busy gathering data and information right around now so they can be prepared for January 1. But definitely keeping a pulse on your benefits throughout the course of the year is definitely a recommendation. And certainly if you have questions in regards to how to do that and the best way to go about that, you can reach out to us here at HR Pro for You, because we develop benefit strategies for organizations, particularly small businesses. So certainly we would love to sit down and communicate with you and talk with you about what that strategy should look like for your small business. You can reach us at www.hrpro4you.com, and you can follow us here on YouTube. You can also catch the podcast directly on the website at hrpro4you.com/podcast, where you can also subscribe. If you're already a subscriber, then you can certainly share this information with others that may find this information beneficial. We look forward to seeing you next month, November, where we'll be talking about thanks. What are employees talking about in regards to thanks? Stay tuned for next month, and I will make sure to fill you in. First Wednesday in November, 9:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I look forward to seeing you then. Have a great day. Bye.